Hi, this is Swapnil Bhartia and welcome to TFR Let's Talk. And we have with us today Jason Morgan, Technical Evangelist for Linkerd at Buoyant. Jason, it's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
And today we are going to talk about the new features and capabilities in Linkerd 2.10 and some exciting use cases. So let's get started with the 2.10 release. Talk about what's new there.
Yeah, so a couple big bits. The first one, or I think one of the most significant features of 2.10 is that we've taken apart the control plane so that you can install kind of just what you need to run a service mesh on a cluster. You can install that dashboard component separately, which lets you kind of get a nice graphical view of what's going on. We've also taken multi-cluster and tracing and put them into their own extensions. And with 2.10, you now have the ability to extend Linkerd yourself should you want to. So if you want to add like a special ingress or something like that, you can do that with a Linkerd extension.
If we look at these improvements, these features, and also, I don't want to name any project, but there are many service meshes, Linkerd is one of them. So talk about these features, these capabilities, how they make things easier for DevOps or Ops or SREs, or, there are so many terms these days, especially in the service mesh space, so that we can kind of talk in deep about that. Hey, this is what Linkerd is delivering.
Yeah, so Linkerd generally looks at its competitive advantage as being, we are the simplest service mesh to operate, and we stay at really trying to just do, one set of things well, right? So Linkerd is a service mesh that really just does that, encrypting traffic, or, ensuring mutual TLS between your applications, ensuring that you have observability and reliability features, above and beyond what you get with native Kubernetes. And so 2.10 really is about just enhancing that, right? One, make it more composable or more easily composable should you want to use, other components with Linkerd, as well as, lay the groundwork for what we're trying to do in the 2.11 release. So with 2.10, the other big feature that we got beyond composing that control plane is with 2.10, you've got this concept of opaque ports. So you can now tell the Linkerd mesh that, the traffic between two applications in your mesh, even though maybe the Linkerd mesh itself can't determine what that traffic is just by looking at it, you can say, hey, encrypt that traffic and just leave it as a bulk, encrypted connection, not, don't try and analyze it beyond just securing the communication.
Can you also talk about this evolution trajectory of the releases that are coming? Of course, it's a fully open source project. Anybody can go and check what is going on. But you are seeing a trend, within this space, like 2.9, then 2.10 is there. So you may see a pattern that, hey, these are the areas that we are focusing on. These are the areas where we're improving things, or these are the areas we are adding more features. Of course, you mentioned complexity, or as if cloud native is already not too complicated that you want service mesh to become complicated too. So I see that one thing is there is ease of use, simplicity, but anything else that you see?
So as a trend, right? Linkerd is trying to evolve to the point where we can do some amount of policy enforcement in your environments, right? So what we've built till now is a really easy to operate service mesh that just enhances your Kubernetes experience. And then going forward, we're looking to do more around that, and especially allow you to say, hey, listen, all traffic in my environment will be MTLS, or, this app is only authorized to talk to that app, or whatever other policy things you might want to build in. So that's our general goal long-term. Keep adding in features, but ensure that as we do it, we don't lose that core simplicity, and make it easy to work with, whatever your ingress is, whatever your API gateway is, and whatever other technologies you make part of your stack.
We know about the new features, we know about new capability. Now let's try to learn how organizations are using these features, these capabilities. Talk about some of the exciting use cases where you do see them, hey, they are pushing it to the limit, or they're getting the most out of Linkerd.
A couple big ones, right? So we've had a case study published very recently with the folks from Elkjop out of Norway. So they're using Linkerd with Azure Kubernetes Service to basically, take some of the functionality they had in the Azure application platform and move it now into Kubernetes, right? So they're relying on Linkerd to provide them MTLS, right, so that they can have encrypted, authenticated traffic between applications. So that was their kind of driving motivation. And then they found, as they were using Linkerd, that it really helped them answer the question, when a given service was having issues, they were able to easily answer the question like, is it the network? Is it DNS? Is it the service mesh? And really track down incidents and resolve them much more quickly. So they were driving down their mean time to identification and mean time to resolution on issues using Linkerd.
Can you go a bit deeper into what was unique about this company, the challenges they were facing? Not only that they picked Linkerd, but that once again enabled them to use it in more efficiently.
Yeah, so their big thing is they were looking to basically redo their point of sale system, right? So they were looking at how do we make it easier for the folks in stores to, get you appropriate recommendations, take you through the sales process, look up inventory in a really efficient way. And they had like their big Black Friday deadline, right? So they wanted to build a new microservice platform that would now allow everybody in stores to do stuff more efficiently, do retail work more efficiently, right? And so, they built this platform and they were doing well in Kubernetes, but they really needed to replicate, or they really needed to improve on their ability to diagnose issues quickly, right? As well as they had regulatory requirements around security where MTLS was really the only solution that they could use. Linkerd ended up being a really easy solution for them, and it really helped them. It really helped them, like when they had a critical incident, right? They were able to diagnose it really quickly and see that they had a misconfiguration fast because of the insight that the service mesh gave them.
Can you also talk about the use case of HEB curbside, because they're also leveraging Linkerd?
Yeah, so HEB had a really exciting story, or exciting from my perspective, right? So HEB, was working on this curbside delivery project, right? And then with the onset of COVID, they wanted to really accelerate what they were doing, with this application. So they moved forward their timetable to move more things to Kubernetes. But as they were doing that, right, like again, that key thing they needed was to ensure that their platform was reliable, was scalable. They could see what was going on and figure out issues early on, right? At the same time, they were really looking for between services. They wanted to make sure that they had retries when required, that they had timeouts, and that they could use a cross-cutting platform to solve some application reliability issues, right? So they wanted to gain better insights into what was going on, but also remediate some things with the mesh, right? So they had a great experience using Spring and Linkerd on Kubernetes to enhance what was already in their applications with that platform. The 2.10 release is about making Linkerd easier to use, right? Easier and smaller and faster, right? And the goal with the Linkerd service mesh is to kind of minimize the compute and the overhead tax of running a mesh, right? Like in general, when folks look at implementing a service mesh, it's usually later on, or once we're already really advanced down the Kubernetes road, right? But with Linkerd, especially Linkerd 2.10, it becomes something that is really simple to put in early on in your Kubernetes journey and just enhance what's going on in your cluster, enhance your applications with standard metrics, standard reliability and observability tools for an extremely low compute overhead cost.
Jason, thank you so much for taking time out today and talk about not only this release 2.10, but also some of the exciting use cases there, which gives us more insight into how companies, organizations are leveraging Linkerd. And it actually also validates, the thing that you are building there, ease of use and also removing the complexity, but still leverage all of that. So thanks for talking to me today. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was delightful.